Chrisley knows best. Todd Chrisley claims Georgia's state government is corrupt. Hello, everyone. Welcome back for another video. I hope everyone's having a great day. Before watching the video, please subscribe and like it. Todd Chrisley, the embattled patriarch of the once-beloved reality series, Chrisley Knows Best, has made bold and damning claims from behind bars, alleging that Georgia's state government is corrupt and targeted him unfairly. Despite serving a lengthy prison sentence following a high-profile federal conviction, Todd has not remained silent. In fact, he has grown even more outspoken, using every opportunity to voice what he believes is a grave miscarriage of justice rooted in power politics and retaliation. In a recent message shared through his legal team and family, Todd expressed outrage over how he and his wife Julie were investigated and prosecuted, claiming the entire process was fueled by bias and unethical behavior from state officials. He believes that certain individuals within the Georgia Department of Revenue set out to ruin him and his family deliberately and without cause. According to Todd, their motives were not based on justice, but rather driven by ego, ambition, and media attention. Todd has always portrayed himself as someone who refused to back down from authority when he felt he was in the right, and that mindset has only intensified during his time in prison. He maintains that the charges brought against him, which included bank fraud and tax evasion, were mishandled from the beginning, and that he has been made a public scapegoat. In his words, the state of Georgia launched a coordinated smear campaign to destroy his name, his business, and his family. This is not the first time Todd has taken aim at Georgia officials. Even before his conviction, he repeatedly clashed with investigators from the Georgia Department of Revenue. At one point, the Chrisleys filed a lawsuit accusing officials of abusing their power and violating their rights during an investigation into alleged unpaid taxes. The case drew national attention due to the Chrisleys' celebrity status and Todd's unfiltered statements against what he claimed was a malicious witch hunt. Now, from within a federal prison cell, Todd is continuing that fight through letters, audio messages, and updates delivered by his daughter Savannah and others close to the family. He insists that the real corruption lies not in his actions, but in the actions of those who tried to bring him down. According to Todd, he has documentation and testimony that point to misconduct, cover-ups, and a deeply flawed system within Georgia's tax enforcement agencies. Family members have rallied behind him, echoing his claims and demanding further investigations into the conduct of state officials. Savannah, in particular, has become a vocal advocate, speaking on podcasts and in interviews about the pain her family has endured and the evidence they believe has been ignored. She argues that her parents were railroaded by a system more interested in headlines than in truth and fairness. Todd's statements have reignited debate about the power wielded by state agencies and the lack of accountability when it comes to how high-profile cases are handled. Legal experts have noted that while the Chrisleys were convicted in federal court, the initial sparks of the investigation came from state-level officials in Georgia, who Todd says were motivated by personal vendettas rather than a genuine pursuit of justice. The Georgia Department of Revenue has not publicly responded to Todd's most recent allegations, but in the past, the agency has stood by its investigations, maintaining that their actions were legal and within the scope of their authority. Still, Todd's persistence in calling out what he claims is a corrupt system has kept the issue alive in public discourse. Even from prison, Todd continues to shape the narrative around his case. His bold accusations and unwavering tone have won him both critics and supporters. Some view his claims as deflection, a refusal to take responsibility for the crimes he was convicted of. Others, however, believe his voice deserves to be heard, and that the questions he raises about government accountability are worth exploring. For fans of Chrisley Knows Best who watched Todd and Julie rise to fame with their picture-perfect image of Southern charm and family unity, the current reality is jarring. The man who once entertained viewers with quips and extravagant lifestyle now speaks about injustice, betrayal, and broken systems. His story has shifted from reality TV celebrity to someone who believes he has become a victim of political abuse. Despite the grim circumstances, Todd has made it clear that he will not stop speaking out. He says that exposing the truth about how his case was handled is now one of his life's missions. With his faith family and supporters behind him, he plans to continue challenging what he calls a corrupt and dangerous precedent set by Georgia's state government. It remains to be seen whether his claims will lead to further legal action or governmental review. But Todd is determined to keep the spotlight on what he sees as deep cracks in the justice system, cracks he says nearly destroyed his family. He hopes that by shedding light on his experience, other citizens will be spared similar fates, and that those in power will finally be held accountable for their actions. As the story continues to unfold, Todd Chrisley remains defiant and vocal. From prison, he may be physically confined, but his voice remains loud, clear, and unrelenting against what he calls corruption at the highest levels of state government. Whether his allegations will lead to tangible change or remain a controversial footnote in an already dramatic saga, only time will tell. Todd Chrisley believes the case should be a wake-up call. Todd Chrisley is not staying quiet about the legal battle that has turned his world upside down from behind prison walls. The reality television star is urging the public to see his story as more than just a headline. He believes the case that landed him and his wife Julie behind bars should be a wake-up call for Americans about the justice system, government overreach, and the potential for corruption. Once known for his sharp-wit designer lifestyle and tight-knit family image on the hit show Chrisley Knows Best, Todd is now using his platform to raise awareness about what he claims are serious flaws in the system that prosecuted him. He insists that his legal troubles go beyond his family and reflect a broader issue that could affect anyone. Todd says his case was mishandled from the start, with investigators allegedly ignoring proper procedures and allowing bias to guide their actions. He believes that the state officials who helped initiate the investigation were driven by ego and personal agendas rather than a fair application of the law. He argues that the entire process was fueled by a desire to make an example out of him rather than to uncover the truth. "This is not just about me," he has said through messages shared by his family. "This is about how easily the government can target and dismantle a family without proper oversight." Throughout the ordeal, Todd has claimed that he and Julie were never given a fair chance to defend themselves, and that key evidence was disregarded or suppressed. He believes that their case should open the public's eyes to how quickly lives can be upended when the justice system fails to function properly. He has called for reform and accountability in both state and federal legal systems, arguing that unchecked power can lead to the abuse of innocent people. He also hopes that his case will encourage others to speak up when they feel wronged by those in authority. Todd is using every channel available to share his experience, often through his daughter Savannah, who has taken on a leading role in defending her parents and spreading their message. She has echoed her father's calls for transparency and urged supporters to demand better from those in positions of power. The Chrisleys argue that their story is a cautionary tale about fame, vulnerability, and the dangers of being in the public eye while facing legal scrutiny. Detractors, however, say Todd is simply refusing to take responsibility for his actions. Still, Todd remains steadfast. He insists that what happened to him could happen to others, and that now is the time for people to pay attention and push for changes. This case should be a wake-up call, he says, a wake-up call for the country, for families, and for anyone who believes that justice should be blind and fair. Todd and Julie Chrisley are choosing grace over bitterness as they face one of the most challenging chapters of their lives from their separate prison cells. The reality television couple has issued a heartfelt message of gratitude to everyone who has followed their journey, standing by them, offering support, or even expressing doubt. In a message relayed by their family, the Chrisleys made it clear that they are thankful not only for the love they have received from fans, but also for the criticism. They believe that every voice played a role in shaping the truth and keeping their story in the public eye. "We thank every single person who has prayed for us, who believed in us, and even those who did not," the couple shared through their daughter Savannah. "There is something to be learned from every experience, every opinion, every moment of hardship." Todd and Julie have maintained their innocence throughout their legal battles, insisting that their convictions were rooted in injustice and misconduct. They claim that the government twisted facts and used their fame against them. But even in the midst of this, they are not holding grudges. Instead, they are turning to their faith to guide them through their sentences, choosing forgiveness over resentment. Julie reportedly spends her days in prayer and reflection, while Todd has used his time to encourage others around him, sharing his story and offering hope to fellow inmates. According to their family, the couple has grown stronger despite being apart. They are leaning on each other emotionally and staying focused on the bigger picture, which includes a desire to see reform in the justice system and to protect others from experiencing what they believe was an unfair legal process. Their message of thanks extended to fans who have followed them for years, watching their reality show and getting to know their family. The Chrisleys said they are humbled by the letters and words of encouragement they continue to receive from strangers across the country. But what surprised many was their decision to also thank those who doubted them. In a world where public figures often lash out at criticism, the Chrisleys are taking a different approach. They say the skeptics helped sharpen their resolve and reminded them to stay grounded in their values. There is power in humility and strength in silence, Todd reportedly told his daughter. Let people think what they want. The truth will always stand on its own. As their appeal process continues, the Chrisleys are keeping faith that their story is not over. They hope to one day return home and use their platform to bring awareness to what they call serious flaws in the system. Until then, their message remains simple. Thank you to everyone. No matter what you believed, we are still standing and still fighting with love in our hearts. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, America Trends 24, and stay with us.